Hi South Africans, investors, I want to tell you about my bank. This is my bank. They call themselves First National Bank. They work under a slogan that says, how can we help you? But that's the biggest lie. They don't help. In 2009, I realized that FNB started taking property from me. I was never even in arrears. I contacted the CEO, I tried to contact the CEO, Mr. Michael Jordan. This is him, Michael, say hello. But in 4 years he never responded to any emails, documentation that was delivered to his offices. Twice I went to FNB Care and delivered documentation. I even went to Sizwe, the CEO of First Rand, and asked for help. But I had no response from them. So we're glad that Michael is leaving, so cheers Michael, there you go. This is Amelia. Amelia is very good with lying, committing fraud and corruption, and I'm not the only one complaining about this one. There's numerous people complaining about her. So we don't need her in our banking system, so Amelia, cheers, goodbye. This is Amelia's friend. Her name is Lynn. Lynn, you were caught in high court lying. You don't lie under oath, and it's a bad thing. We will prove later on this video and supply the public with proof of lies. Lynn, bye-bye. On this side we've got Janneman Kleinhans. He's the CEO of Home Loans. He could have helped and recovered money long time ago when we had a meeting in 2011. But again, Jan did nothing about it. So Jan, just goodbye. Wendy Zulu as the head of legal lied to carte blanche. Isn't that bad? Lied to carte blanche, she even did it in a document, writing it down. So head of legal lying to carte blanche doesn't work in the banking system. So cheers, Wendy. This video is about how FNB hunted my properties. I noticed in 2009 they tried to steal a property from me, number 24 Minnar Street. I was not in arrears. I never received no notice of service, nothing. It went on. In December 2009, after delivering documentation to the bank, they still went and they sold the house on auction. I lost R500,000. That was my working capital. It was gone. In the following year, in June, they tried to take a property from me, a Coronation. I was only 2,000 in arrears. The same day, number 24 Minnar also went on auction, but I could save it. Again, no notices, no nothing, no phone calls. FNB tried to take my property. We went a little bit further, and in August we went to court. One of the ladies, Linda Zoikos, lied in court. We only found that out in 2013. FNB hunted my properties. It was not fair. In this next session of video, I will show the people with proof, documentation, how they stole from me. The story about 24 Minnar Street in Albertsville. I got a phone call from a lady that works for the Government Gazette. She told me that my property was going on auction on the 25th of June 2009. It was a major shock for me. Why should my property go on? I'm not even in arrears. I did a phone call to the bank, and whoever I spoke to said to me, sorry sir, it was a mistake. How can the bank make such a mistake? They never delivered a notice to me that my property was going on auction. Today I can prove on documentation that the auction was cancelled, but I cannot give you proof that there was a notice of service. FNB tried to sell my property on the 25th of June. If I didn't make that phone call, I would have lost R1 million of property. If I knew about it and had to go to court, it would have cost me R100,000 in legal fees to save my property. How can a bank make such a mistake? I want to tell you about a property, 120 Collins Street, Brixton. My property was in arrears. It was due to an arbitration case that I had that cost me 100,000, and the client had lived in that property for 2 years not paying me any rent. The property went in arrears and I couldn't pay it out of my own pocket. I negotiated with the bank. I'm going to sell it privately and I will give them proof of the offer to purchase, the deposit being paid, and that the client will have money in his account. That did happen. The property was sold by myself for 735,000, cash deal. 15 minutes before the auction date, on the 10th of December, the bank came back to me and told me that the auction is going to happen. That was so unfair because Mr. Cheku Rapu cancelled the auction verbally. He had all the proof from my attorneys, sent by my attorneys to him. Why should this happen? FNB wanted me to lose money that day. I offered 40,000 to pay to make sure this auction doesn't happen. They rejected it. My attorneys offered money. They rejected it. Mr. Lawrence Mabuza, FNB consultant, told me, Mr. Niemand, don't put 1 cent into this account because you won't get that cent back. That meant to me, Nico Niemand, you're going to lose money today. My property was auctioned on that day for 272. I lost 500,000. The client that bought the property was a Mr. Yankees. Mr. Yankees couldn't deliver guarantees. He immediately sold it to Mr. Perry. But this is a scam again, because Mr. Perry and Mr. Yankees, the documentation from the sheriff shows both that they live at number 27 Thornton Avenue, so they knew each other. But we can now prove that the new owner, Mr. Perry, wasn't bounded to the legal document that the sheriff signed with Mr. Yankees. So why should he pay occupation rent? Again, it's a scam. Now Mr. Perry has been living in this property for over 4 years. He's not paying water and lights. The water and lights account is still on me. He has made more than 500,000 out of this property. He has run up a municipal bill of close to 200,000. That bill is on me. This is again a scam. Eventually, a 4611 was granted in my name. It was done by Van Alstein attorneys. They took 50,000 rand out of my account to do this legal thing. I had an arrangement with Marianne van der Berg from the attorney's firm. When this 4611 happens, please let me know. That will give me 60 days to sell my property and recover some of my losses. This happened on the 4th of October in 2011. She never phoned me, she never told me nothing about the 4611 coming back to me. I was phoned on the 25th of November by Marianne. She told me, Mr. Niemand, your property is going on auction again today. How can that be? You people told me that you're going to get me and tell me about the time period of 60 days that I can sell my house again. She told me, Mr. Niemand, the bank instructed me not to tell you about the 4611. They want you to lose money because you started a rotten bank website. So Amelia de Basson at FNB instructed Marianne van der Berg at Van Alstein's attorneys to not tell me about the 4611. That is theft and fraud in my eyes. They did sell this property eventually. And who did they sell it to? They sold it to Mr. Perry again, the person that couldn't deliver guarantees for nearly 3 years. How can they sell it to the same person? Again, they wanted me to lose money. This gentleman is still staying in the house, collecting rent from the students, running up my water and lights bill. I cannot do nothing about it. Carte Blanche was doing a research on this property. And on the same day where the auction happened, one of the people phoned the bank and asked them why they didn't tell me about the 4611. The gentleman at the attorney's firm said Mr. Niemann was supposed to read about it in the government gazette. Is it a normal thing for anyone to read the government's gazette every day to see their properties are going on auction? No, that is a stupid thing. When Amelia at Carte Blanche did a research with Wendy Zulu, the head of legal at Home Loans, she asked her the question, why did you not notify Mr. Niemann about the auction? Wendy lied on a document and said to her, we did notify him. We did say to him that this auction would be cancelled and a future date will be given to him. This was a lie. That day, on the 25th, my property was sold. Again, to a person that couldn't deliver guarantees, Mr. Perry. This is a scam. Now FNB wants that 300,000 that's in arrears from me. It is not fair. Corruption and fraud at number 110 Barnes. Hack, Stupel and Ross had my domiciliary address. I gave it to them with an email. They sent the sheriff to my property 4 times where I reside to collect my movable assets because they said I owed them 28,000 Rand. This was again a lie. The advocate stole that money from my account after the court case in 2010. I did not owe FNB any money. But the main thing of this is they had my domiciliary address. The sheriff was 4 times at my property. In 2012, they sold number 110 Barnes on auction without notifying me. Again, the same attorneys, Hack, Stupel and Ross. They had my domiciliary address where I reside, where I should get my legal documentation. Why did they send the notice of service to 110 Barnes? Again, FNB wanted me to lose money. No phone calls, no SMSs, no emails. They went and sold the property without notifying me.